Hello, my loves. I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being here. This is where we're talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. If you like this content, you've been here before, or even if you're new, please hit the like button. Please help me spread this word, because I am talking about the stuff that works, right? My methods and my videos and my processes, my program Sovereign really does set us all free, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm very passionate about it. I'm not passionate about narcissists, but I'm very passionate about us, right? So this video, let's get into the content, and stay to the end. I've got an offer I want you to know about, is about how the narcissist singles out the scapegoat. I was the family scapegoat, right? I grew up in an abusive household. I wouldn't even admit it was abuse. I had terrible cognitive dissonance. I thought the problem was me until I got into my early 30s and I had to face the facts, right? There was nothing wrong with me. There was something very wrong with them. Right, is the narcissist, so detached, operating with an entity of consciousness we're calling narcissism, highly abusive, right, manipulative behaviors. I grew up, I was saying to someone this morning, and I didn't think it was abuse unless I was being physically hurt, which happened rarely. Yeah, I was being emotionally destroyed, scapegoated. So what's the scapegoat? The scapegoat is the one they blame, right, for everything. I got outcast from my entire family when I was nothing but the most malleable. I'm going to talk about what makes you the scapegoat, how they single you out and basically groom you from a very young age. And the most terrible, horrifying thing about, well, their behavior is horrifying, but the terrible thing is we grow up thinking there's something very wrong with us, yeah, which is natural to some extent for most people, but we really feel it. Yeah, I felt it. I couldn't accept that if my parents didn't love me, there wasn't something very wrong with me, right? But as it happened, I was a straight A student. I was very quiet. I was very introverted and shy because of what I'd gone through, right? So let me explain. They groom you from a very early age to believe that this is your fault. Now, even if you weren't the family scapegoat, whatever narcissistic relationship you're in, they're making you think this is because of you. A narcissist will blame you. They will never look at themselves and take accountability. And what they do with the scapegoat is they look for someone who's got enormous empathy, which I did, and also is very wanting to be conscious. I wanted to look at myself. I wanted to check, is this to do with me? I've taught many times because I've coached people for many years on peak performance and leadership, as well as now, this beautiful job we're doing here. But, where the personal development industry let me down is not let me down personally, but where it falls short is it doesn't take care of this dynamic, and it just doesn't have to. But this was a missing piece for me because it talks about personal responsibility. And for most of us that have been through this, we're taking way too much personal responsibility. My drop of gold, I was writing my notes for this video for you today, that this is gold, right? Who's the scapegoat? The least narcissistic. Why? Because a narcissist will always blame everyone else. And the scapegoat is the person who often is the most malleable, but will look at themselves a lot, right? To see how they can improve it. It's the least narcissistic person that becomes a scapegoat. So they're going to blame you. They're going to leave you in confusion. The realm of the devil, the realm of the narcissist is all confusion. What did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? What's wrong with me, right? I'm just clearing that with you now. If you want to consent, say yes. We're just doing an energy clearing and connecting to you if you choose to. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with it being the narcissist. So we tend to end up spending our lives trying to figure out what's wrong with us, trying to improve ourselves. And that's nothing wrong with self-improvement. I'm all for personal development, but knowing the truth behind things rather than seeing as everything our fault. So we tend to have a hyper-vigilant way of blaming ourselves from these cycles, and they've groomed that into us. I thought it was all my fault. If my parents don't love me, I must be unlovable. What could I do to make them love me? So guess what? I just sacrificed more and more of myself. Yeah, I let them become more and more abusive. They almost killed me. Like, you know, really disgusting behaviours, horrific behaviours, unhuman behaviours, something that is not fathomable. And of course, to the outside world, they were someone else, right? If I had a problem, I wasn't, you know, if I had money and things that they wanted, that was a different thing, because they viewed that as something they could boast about. But they still were abusive. But when I was in trouble, oh gosh, right? And they want to blame you. They want to create a story about you. They want to drive you crazy and then not take accountability for what they've done to you emotionally. They want to blame you for being the crazy one, when actually no one can stay sane around a narcissist easily. Yeah, they really do try and break you down. Why? Because then you're going to think it's your fault even more, right? If you have a breakdown, if you get mentally ill, you know, then it's your issue. It's not what they did to you that caused it, which in the case of narcissistic abuse, unless you're a narcissist, is very intolerable, and it's going to have an effect on you, right? Dangerously. So the scapegoat is the least narcissistic one, the one that's going to take the blame, to keep the peace, end up as a chronic people pleaser, and is easy because they're heart-centered to be eroded on a self-esteem level. That's who they pick on, the sweetheart. Yeah? That's who they pick on, and they'll paint a picture of that person, and they're the one that will get most hurt. Less likely, like I was never going to fight back. I was always, I never blamed them whatsoever. I made so many excuses for them, right? The one that's got the most compassion and empathy, they'll be the scapegoat because they're the easiest one to abuse, the least narcissistic one. So if you've been the scapegoat in your family, I have, and it's horrific. It's horrific. And they'll turn everyone against you and tell all sorts of lies, and you will seriously often struggle with your self-esteem. If you want to improve that, join Sovereign. The offer I've got is I'm drawing a winner on the 1st of January. There's a free draw. You'll win either a 90-minute session with me or the entire Sovereign program for a year, right? All you have to do is share a video. Ideally, share one that you like, yeah? But you can share anyone and email me, ellie@elliefrost.com, that you've shared it, and I'll enter you into that free draw, right? So, and payment plans are available for Sovereign. If you are ready to do the work, do the work. That program is about you. The difference is I'm not there just to educate you about narcissists. I'm there to give you back yourself, your abundance, your freedom, and your life, your true authentic life, right? And to release all the trauma and bring us into our most fulfilling and abundant life. That's my mission on the planet, right? To heal this fast, once and for good. Yeah, to help you not just get the people out of your life, but have the tools, have the wisdom, have the ascension to be able to be the best you and want to be, right? We lose hope in these relationships. We think it's going to be such a big deal, right? Self-love is a side effect of being sovereign, because when you're sovereign, you've got your own back. You know who you are again. Yeah, we lose ourselves in this cycle. They implant subconscious programs like we don't matter, we don't exist, right? And that's what leads to all this unworthiness, and it's all our fault. There's something inherently wrong with us, really wrong with us, to have been treated this way. There is nothing wrong with you, right? If you've been narcissistically abused, sometimes a narcissist will always blame everyone else, and that's where it gets tricky when we're learning and educating ourselves, because we want to take accountability for ourselves. A big part of personal development is personal responsibility, but the key about personal responsibility is we've got to know what's ours and what's theirs. We've got to know, right, what we're actually accountable and responsible for and what we're not. Yeah, there's a difference between I don't like victim shaming, but being victimized, targeted by predators, yeah, doesn't mean you're going to live in that story, but and it's not just a story, it's our reality. Yeah, I get a bit annoyed about the personal development industry really victim shaming as well, because these things are extremely hard to go through. A lot of people won't understand what it is. If you're here, I think you do. If you've been the scapegoat sending you so much love, it was never about you. It was always about them. Lots of love, guys. Please keep liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing. I love you, and I'll speak to you soon.